RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. Oh, wrong screen. Hey, this is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. Unapologetic liberal talk. I was just trying to get that screen up with South Park. We'll talk about that in a minute. My name is Tara Devlin. We hang out here every Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at the Tarabuster YouTube channel, youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster, and the Political Voices Substack. So thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for being here. I see Jim in the chat room. Thank you, chat. Jim. I mean, chat. Thank you, chat, Jim. Thank you, Jim, for being a moderator. I can't talk. What is going on? What else? And I see Twisted Nerves Painting in the chat, and Ed the second in the chat, and Mike. Nice to see you all. And there are more here that are too shy to introduce themselves, but that's all right. Let's see. We have a lot to talk about. Thank you, Jim, for being a moderator. And what else? Hold on. I'm getting my things here. Welcome to the Substack community. If you aren't subscribing to my Substack, please do. I don't ask for much. I hate e-begging, but it is a necessary evil. So, hey, asking if you can subscribe to the Substack, if you can afford to pay for it, that's also good too. But if you can't, just follow me. And if you can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/TaraDevlin. And thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for keeping the show going and growing, for your generous donations, and also for your donations to the community cats that I help take care of, and so do you. So they will be warm in the winter thanks to the shelters you bought, and have full bellies thanks to your donations. All right, guys. And yeah, we got to think about this time. I mean, really, if we weren't fighting fascism, I always say I would probably do a show about animal rescue, something like that. And we do have a good news story at the end of the show, but I'll save it for that. It is animal related, so stick around towards the end, and we'll talk about it. So, for those who are new and don't know, this show is also rebroadcast on Sundays on the Progressive Voices app. So there will be music cues in between, but we're not really going to break if you're watching it live. That's just so on Sundays, the Progressive Voices people put commercials in between, so that's their cue. And yeah, there you go. I hope that makes sense. So I'll be saying, we'll be right back. You'll hear the music. I'll say, we'll be right back, but we really aren't going anywhere. Just for those who are new. Because since we've been on the Political Voices Substack, doing the live broadcast there as well, that we have some new people watching the show. So, okay, also, Hal Sparks was supposed to be on the show tonight, and I posted about that earlier, but he rescheduled for next week. He's a very busy man, as we know. I don't know how he does it. I'm going to ask him. I have asked him before when he was on the Tara show. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do a show with Tara Dublin, right here on the Political Voices on the Substack and the YouTube channel. And I don't know. I mean, he does a show. Does he? You're better off asking him when he's not doing a show, because he's always doing a show. He does a morning show. He does an evening show. He does a show every day, even on the weekends. I don't know how he does it. I got to ask him. Well, I mean, if you love what you're doing, I enjoy what I'm doing here. I do. So only because what else choice do we have? We have to fight fascism. And this is one way that I can contribute, I believe, because I do believe that we are, and I've said it before, the two problems, really, the ultimate problems we face in America are money and politics, and the media, the corporate media. That's what makes people stupid. Stupid enough or malinformed, misinformed, malinformed, eager to vote for their own demise. And they get in there, they hook them by racism. You know, that's Fox News in a nutshell. And they lie to their victims/viewers and convincing them to vote for their own demise. But well, let's just get into it. Like, for example, we're not letting go of the Epstein files. We want to see the Epstein files. If Trump is so innocent, release it. Right? We want to know. What are those wonderful secrets that you shared with a convicted pedophile for 20 years? Your best pal. Ain't it wonderful to have a pal? The enigma. What do you get in an enigma? Right? We want to know. I want to know. What does an enigma? What do you get in enigma for his birthday? Enigmas never age. May it be a wonderful secret. May every day be another wonderful secret. Well, what's that wonderful secret? Share it with us. Well, I'm so sick of maggots. The hypocrisy. If it wasn't for hypocrisy, what would they do? What would they sustain themselves on? And I wonder, how do they look at themselves in the mirror? Because here's the truth. Democrats are all like, release the Epstein files. Who cares? If Bill Clinton is in there and he is a perpetrator, then let the chips fall where they may. He deserves all of our scorn, and he would certainly not be protected. That's for sure. But if Bill Clinton was in the Epstein files and not Traitor Trump, they would already be released. But that monster and all of the, well, let's just get into it. And that's why I named the show, the title of the show, 47% of Republicans, where is it? 47% of Republicans don't care if Trump committed crimes with Epstein. Well, what I should say is crimes against children. That's what we're talking about. That is what we're talking about. And one of the things that I was thinking about this today. Of course Trump raped children. Well, I'm trying to, because YouTube doesn't like those words. So too late now. I let it, that's why I didn't name the show something different. I said that they don't care if he committed crimes. Well, if he committed, how do you call it? He's what do you call sex or assaulting underage children? 14 years old. This is what we're talking about. That's what Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein and Traitor Trump did. Recruiting 14-year-old young girls. That's a child. To groom and rape. Both of them. I'm talking about Ghislaine Maxwell too, and now she's sitting in a Club Fed where she doesn't belong. It is absolutely repugnant. But so are Republicans, because they don't care. There's so many things. So many things are going on in my mind right now, because how much time in our lives are wasted by Republicans dragging us from one of their manias to the next. They're constantly dragging us through their manias. We all have to endure their whining and bitching and farting and gasping and all of their deflections and screaming. And, hey, I thought they were uncovering the worldwide pedophile ring that was supposedly, I don't know, run by Democrats who like to drink adrenochrome. But now that their dear leader is implicated, he's in there. He's guilty of sin. And that's the thing I was thinking today, because Trump is a follower. Okay? We know this. I know that, and he's typical. It's perfect for Republicans, because they're all they're followers too. They're not leaders. They're not rugged individuals. Republicans, God help you if you're a rugged individual in the Republican Party. Then you're out of the Republican Party. They don't like rugged individuals. They want you to be exactly what they want you to be. They want you to say what they want you to say. Anybody who deviates is out of the cult. So, of course, Traitor Trump is part of, I won't even say, how do you say? He participated in the sexual assault of children because he knew what Jeffrey Epstein was up to. He hung out with him. He had wonderful secrets with him. Hold on a second. We'll be right back. This is Tara Devlin. So, and not only did he share wonderful secrets with a convicted pedophile, he spoke about it. Now, Trump has a very underwhelming brain, right? So he only, and a limited vocabulary. So when the media asked him about his best pal, Jeffrey Epstein, he couldn't come up with anything else to say except he likes beautiful women like I do, except he likes them a lot younger or young. He likes them really young, which is, it's not really a Freudian slip. He just trying to, I mean, it's just an indication that he knew what Jeffrey Epstein is or was, and Ghislaine Maxwell. And so he knew that what they were up to, of course, and anybody who was in the close proximity and hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, of course knew. Of course he knew about the underage, the assault of children that was going on. And so, but Trump is a follower. So when he sees something like that, and he's also, he's a greed-centered narcissist, sociopath. He doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself. He doesn't care about decency or humanity or if somebody's being abused or how they feel I mean, we have we talked about it last week, the Katie Johnson deposition that Tara Dublin recorded a portion of, and it's horrific. And you can go on to her Twitter feed. It's pinned right to the top. It's absolutely horrific, but that was in a sworn testimony, how Traitor Trump sexually assaulted her, her and another underage girl. But if Trump saw what was going on, of course he's not going to say anything because that's his pal. And like Ghislaine Maxwell said to her friend, they are trash. Right? These people, they're not people. We're not people to them. And Traitor Trump is a follower. He's not a leader. For example, I point this out all the time. Remember, when he boasted about Operation Warp Speed, how he created the vaccine, and because of Operation Warp Speed, which is not really true, they put money into funding vaccine development because of the pandemic. And the research had already been done. We were along the road, further along, and Trump just put some more money. Like Republicans always say, throw money. The Democrats like to throw money at things. That's all Trump does, or did at the time. He didn't do anything other than that. Let the scientists do what they do. And now, I mean, for all of the money they threw at the vaccine, it certainly is mitigated by all the harm they've done. They've done more harm than good, leaving office with 1 million dead. Well, that's because when Traitor Trump got on stage at one of his Nuremberg rallies and said, "Get the vaccine," I did, he got booed by the maggots. And he never mentioned it again. He never told them again. He never set them straight, you see? Because he's a follower. He's weak. He's a coward. Like the rest of them. They're all cowards. That's why they need daddy. They're talking about daddy. Daddy's home. I'm your dad. Trump's your daddy. Daddy's home. Well, that's an indication of the fact that they lack the fundamental maturity, the fundamental personality to function in a free democratic society. Whenever they say that, I wish somebody on the corporate media would point it out. You know, when they say, "Oh, daddy, I'm your daddy, this daddy, that." It is telling about who they are. They hate America. That's really the response that you should give them. If one of your maggot friends says Trump is your daddy, they love saying things like that. We'll say, "Well, I don't need a daddy. I'm a grown-ass adult." Right? Like the founders. They didn't need King George. That's why they said, "No thanks, King George. We don't need you to be our daddy. We can adult ourselves." Right? We know how to take care of ourselves. That's what happens. You don't need daddy. Who needs daddy but children? But people who can't take care of themselves. So that's just another example of how they hate America. They can't even, they just can't see it in all their obnoxious behavior. They think they're owning the libs. They're shaming themselves, as always. Daddy's home. Well, I don't need daddy, honey. You may need daddy because you're pathetic. You're an overgrown, emotionally stunted schoolyard bully taunt who brings nothing to the table, just like your dear leader. And that's what I'm talking about. Trump is not a leader. He's not an innovator. He's not a deal maker. He's good at taking credit for things that other people did, just like the Republicans do. They do it all the time. They take credit for things that Democrats did and do. All the successes that Democrats had, they take credit. Like he took credit for the insulin. What was it? $30 insulin? I don't remember exactly off the top of my head now. He never did that. That was Biden. But there you go. Just like and during the debate when J.D. Vance said for the first time in Trump's first term, for the first time in decades, the standard of living, what was it? It was the wages went up for working people under Trader Trump. And I was screaming at the television, yeah, that's because blue states were passing $15 minimum wage laws that Republicans voted against. And I don't know, Tim Walz sat there, didn't say anything, but okay, can't go back in time. That's why I'm here not just me, but others who do this, to try to, I don't know, bring the truth, break through the noise, the bullshit. But that's a fact. Trump is not a leader. He hasn't led it. So when he sees the abuse of children, what's he gonna do? Nothing. Because he wants to be close to that money. That's it. He likes his pal, the pedophile. Right? Oh, I have that image in my head of, and he's so vile, Trump. There's that footage of him at Mar-a-Lago. Is that Mar-a-Lago? I don't know. When Jeffrey Epstein is there and they're pointing at girls. Ugh. And there's another clip where there's a bunch of girls there and they're like waving and looking off at something and Trump is just groping them. He's pulling them towards his crotch. He's disgusting. A disgusting, no redeeming qualities at all. He's not a deal maker. I just saw this thing actually where you probably saw it. He's such a thirsty bitch, Trader Trump. And let me find this before where is it? He hosted, because he wants a Nobel Peace Prize, right? He really wants one because Obama had one. And he's a victim. He's a professional victim. Oh, they're not going to give me one. I'm the man of peace. Hold on. Where is this? So, he hosted the Armenian and Azerbaijan. I'm sorry, I have a hard time with words sometimes. They signed a peace deal at the White House today, and he took credit. This piece of shit took credit for the whole thing. All he did was host the leaders of these two countries, and part of the deal, the reason they I guess acquiesced to his request to do the signing of this peace agreement at the White House was because the economic investment that Trader Trump, because he's been given the power of the purse unconstitutionally by that real Article 1 guy known as Mike Johnson. I mean, this is what we're dealing with, a completely lawless administration, unconstitutional. Everything is against the Constitution, everything they're doing. Trump doesn't have the power as president to make economic deals, granting exclusive development rights and shit to anybody. He's not supposed to have the power to set tariffs, but he's been given that power by the real Article 1 guy, Mike Johnson. I don't know what they're doing there. What's the point of a Congress? Well, I guess that's the bottom line. That's the ultimate game plan. Who needs a Congress? The Congress is a rubber stamp for this lawless administration. But that's another thing. You know, how just like Republicans dragged us through their manias about kids. What about the kids? What about the protecting the children? Everything. Remember, what about the children screaming? It's always about trans people, gay people, protect the children, right? That's what they're talking about. Not protect them from pedophiles, like your dear leader, a convicted rapist who's been judged by 2 grand juries, 2 juries, saw all the evidence and said, yeah, he did rape E. Jean Carroll. He's been convicted. Like it or not, maggots. But the recent study, where is this actually? Oh boy, it's so. But this is what I'm talking about. You know, we have to endure their screaming and yelling about how they're real strict constitutionalists when it comes to trying to ensure that no one needlessly dies without health care in this country, right? Remember that during Obama, the Obamacare debate? Well, not even a debate. We were trying to ensure that no Americans needlessly died without health care or had to go beg on GoFundMe for medical care. And they were screaming and farting and wheezing and gasping and acting like the goddamn baboons that they are at every town hall, screaming, disrupting. That's all they do. Waving their pocket constitutions. If only they were the strict constitutionalists that they pretend to be. Just like we had on the Tara show the other day. If you missed it, go check it out on the Political Voices YouTube channel. We had John Fugelsang on talking about his book, The Separation of Church and Hate. If only they were the Christians they purport to be, you know? We wouldn't have this problem. It's absolutely, it's so, when I think about all the time in my life wasted having to endure them, all their faux outrages. If only they cared about the children, right? If only they cared about abortion, if they didn't like abortion. You got to say, they must love abortion because their policies create so many of them. They're so pro-abortion, it's not even funny, for Christ's sakes. But yeah, there's, as far as the poll, let's see. According to a survey conducted by Leger, how do you pronounce that? Leger? Leger survey. asked voters if Donald Trump was officially implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking activities, would this make you more or less likely to vote for him? Or would it make no difference at all? According to multiple fact checks and reports discussing this poll, 47% of self-identified Republican respondents said it would make no difference at all. Aren't they wonderful? Don't they have a lot of wonderful secrets? This is a party of pedophile enablers at the very least. At the worst, they're the pedophiles, but in the least, they are the protectors of pedophiles. They don't give a shit about the children. They don't give a shit whether children are starving, suffering, or abused. God, they really are the enemies of the people. I wish I was wrong. I don't know. It's almost hard to fathom sometimes. How can you have no standards like this? Like, what are you getting out of Traitor Trump's administration that you will look away on everything that you pretend to be all about? That's the other thing. How do these people live with themselves? How do they look at themselves in the mirror when they're screaming about Hillary Clinton and adrenochrome and protect the children? Wasn't that one of their QAnon memes during the campaign? Where it was protect the children, save the children. Yeah, that's what it was. Save the children from you. We got to save them from Republicans. Because there is, and I'm writing an article now for the Political Voices Substack. It'll probably be up tomorrow because, it's late now and I don't put them up myself. There's an editor that does that. But, and I'm writing this article and I couldn't believe my own beautiful eyes when I saw this. It's almost like, what? I'll give you a preview. If you will, please, subscribe to the Substack, my Substack, Political Voices Substack, Tara Dublin Substack, all the Political Voices peoples. Wait, hold on. Getting a message. Okay. I gotta breathe. Because, I don't know if did you see this? That the Republican Party, okay. I'll just spit it out. I'm saying to myself, how do I even say this? Well, Trump just gave the order to NASA to destroy 2 satellites that were, guess what? Were they on their last legs? Was it a giant woke DEI boondoggle that they didn't like? It's 2 satellites that were feeding scientific information about climate change. They were considered the scientific gold standard for monitoring carbon dioxide. And now, Traitor Trump has issued an order to NASA to destroy them, not bring them home or whatever. I don't know. They can't really. They would just burn up in space. But to destroy them. No, they're not weather. Redfoot on the chat. They are. What is that? What is it? It's Orbiting Carbon Observatory 2. And then another one, a companion instrument aboard the International Space Station. To their primary mission is to, maybe it is a weather satellite, but it is to monitor carbon emissions. And so these are the cost-effective lifelines for science. So scientists could gather this information because it was public knowledge. The more scientists know, the better. Now, but what's happening is Traitor Trump is making it harder for scientists to gather data at all. They're removing websites. They're scrubbing these tools that people use. And it's not just scientists. Farmers use it to figure out how they're, to figure out what they do with their crops. But, and it's not as if this is some kind of expensive boondoggle. The cost to maintain the satellites was $15 million a year to operate, which is nothing. Given the fact that they were, it was a return on investment. These satellites were feeding essential data to scientists, farmers, even oil and gas companies. Hold on a second. And when I saw this, it's like you have to laugh, right? When I saw it, for those who are just tuning in, we're talking about how Trump and the filthy fascist Republicans have given NASA an order to not just decommission two satellites that are monitoring climate change, carbon emissions, but to destroy them, to outright destroy them. I'm speechless sometimes. They were told this directly, to draft up plans to terminate these satellites, to destroy them. This isn't reform. This isn't fiscal prudence. This is sabotage. Right out of some kind of surrealistic nightmare. And they are putting every living thing on the planet at risk. That's the Republican Party. And I say it all the time. This is terrorism. They are the domestic terrorists, that the founders warned us about. They are the enemies that the founders warned us about. Domestic enemies. What else? I mean, prove me wrong. No group of no collection, no cultists, no Taliban, ISIS, Islamic State, Hamas. They could only wish to do as much damage as the Republican Party. What's the greatest terrorist organization on earth? Look no further than across the aisle, if you're in the House, at the GOP caucus. They don't come, no other cell, no non-state actor could come close to the destruction, deliberately, systemically, gleefully, that the Republican Party inflicts on us. No other group works as methodically to deny reality, to destroy evidence, to sabotage our basic survival. That's what they're doing. Can you imagine? This is like right out of, when you remember that movie Alien with Sigourney Weaver, the original? Was it Alien? Or no, it was Aliens, the other one. That was a good one too. Where wasn't I don't know, I'm getting it confused. Somebody on the chat will remind me. But there was a company man on the mission, and he was sabotaging something so they could bring the alien home. And behind all the other people's back, they were going to die because of this fucker. But he was doing it he was sabotaging their lives so he can bring the alien back to Earth. That's what it's like. That's what these people are doing. That's what the Republicans are doing. Like, what do you think you're doing, assholes? You're fucking us. And what makes me more infuriated, especially about that effing baboon who pretends he's a man of peace because he wants a Nobel Peace Prize. He's such a thirsty bitch. But he's 80 years old, and he's not in good health. He's got cankles. He's got all kinds of tubes sticking out. He looks like shit. He's not going to be around. Kids and grandkids, future generations, we're saddling them with this. We just had the hottest year in recorded history. On top of it, drought, floods, catastrophic floods, right? That's the other thing when I think about how Republicans are the enemies of the people. Look what they did look what they're doing in Texas. They hijacked the special session that was supposed to be about addressing the catastrophic floods that their policies exacerbated. They already caused that. They caused needless death in those floods. Didn't give those young girls a fighting chance, just like Traitor Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Right? Didn't give them a fighting chance in other ways. And they hijacked this special session that's supposed to deal with the floods, the aftermath of the policies that harmed the people they pretend to represent in the first place. But they hijack that special session to carve out more power for themselves. So they have the power to cause more damage to the people they pretend to represent. Right? There's nothing. There's no redeeming quality to them. And I don't even know how do you explain this? How do you explain telling NASA to destroy satellites, to destroy them because they're dealing with a very real fact that the Earth is getting warmer, that the Earth has a fever, and they're leaving us blind without the ability to do anything about it. And it's like your child has a fever, and instead of addressing it, you rip the thermometer out of their mouth and, stomp on it. Or your house is on fire, so you just rip down the fire alarms and stomp on it. That's what the Republicans are doing. So tell me, what is the point of them? They are the enemies of the people. And that's why whenever I read anything like this, and I wrote this article, it's going to be up tomorrow, as I said, with a little video accompanying it. But I wonder, I get mad at people who vote for them, for this. They voted for this? You should be ashamed. Shame on you. What are you getting out of it? You get, what? To call somebody a fat pig? You get to misgender somebody? Is that it? That's what you like? That's all you get, right? How much do these people have to hate this country to set us up for failure like this? But okay, that's just one thing. And of all the assaults on decency, dignity, democracy, and humanity going on, that's just one thing. I haven't seen that article, or that story anywhere, really, because there's so much other shit going on. But that, to me, says everything. That says who they are. They are the enemies of this country. They're the domestic enemies. Like, who else would do that? Sabotage our satellites, feeding us data so we can confront the very real problems that we face. Who would do that besides the enemy of the United States? Right? Or on orders of the United States. When you look at that through, of like Putin, let's say, it's almost as if Putin is telling Traitor Trump, his puppet, destroy those satellites, set America up for failure, make everything worse. So everything that they're doing, everything that they're touching, they turn to shit. They make ugly. Like, I'm sure you saw the picture of the Rose Garden now. It's completely cemented over. It's turned into like nothing but a cement block. And this fucking bitch is making a ballroom. It's like, get the fuck out. That he's making moves like he's not going to leave. Redecorating, turning everything into a gilded, shitty, ugly, tacky, looks like fucking Versailles exploded, vomited, but ugh, I don't know, not in a tasteful way. He's got no taste. He's a very underwhelming person who offers nothing to humanity. I don't think there's ever been a more useless waste of DNA. I don't think there's ever been somebody that hates America more in government than the Republicans. And clearly we're in authoritarianism now, thanks to the Article 1 guy and the corrupt and illegitimate Supreme Court. I hope the Democrats are listening to me. I'm telling you, because we got a lot of work to do. And I mean, I hope they're listening. I'm talking about the elected Democrats. I hope they're listening because this is how they need to talk. I mean, leave out the curse words, but I'm saying when you talk about the Supreme Court, you have to say corrupt and illegitimate Supreme Court. Right? And when you talk about, I mean, first of all, I don't want to get going again about the Democrat Party thing. That's another thing. All of it. Everything starts with a conversation. That's why all authoritarians take over the media. That's why Traitor Trump whines about the media. That's how, because people are going about their lives. That's how these maggots are being malinformed. They're not doing their own research. They're getting misinformed, malinformed. Hold on. Just like the American Revolution began in tea shops as a conversation where people passed around pamphlets, I guess the podcast of their day, and they whispered those radical notions that we didn't need a king in an aristocracy. We didn't need a daddy to rule us. We could rule ourselves. Thank you very much, Daddy. Oh, well, we can rule ourselves, not them. That's the problem. And when we get this country back, I'm telling you, we have a lot of work to do. There has to be a reckoning, first of all, for all the crimes that they committed. There's none of this moving forward, looking forward, not behind. That's what got us in this boat. Looking forward, not behind. And it began with Ford pardoning Nixon. Looking forward, not behind. And at that time, I wasn't around. I was, I think I was alive. When did that happen? What year? I was a child, a baby. And, but there was outrage about that at the time. And people warned, this means that the president is above the law. Well, now the Supreme Court, the corrupt and illegitimate Supreme Court, has made the president above the law, but not the rest of us. No one is above the law but the worst, most waste of human DNA on the planet. A criminal, lifelong con man, a convicted felon, sexual abuser, adjudicated rapist, tax cheating, draft dodging, underwhelming grifter with a fake university and a multi-level marketing vitamin scam. He's above the law. But that's why I wonder, what do these people get out of it? And when we get the country back, that's why we have to unapologetically, and enough coddling conservatives, we have to unapologetically go through the pains of Reconstruction. That's what we got to call it. The second Reconstruction. We didn't even finish the first. That's the problem. If we had, there's so many opportunities in America where we could have fixed the problems and set ourselves up for success. But instead, we pandered to conservatism. And I believe, and, tell me if I'm wrong. What do you think? If you think I'm wrong, that I believe that we're in this boat partly because we've been entirely too lenient on conservative traitors. Since since the founders rebelled, for Christ's sakes. If this were the revolution, the conservatives were the ones pining for daddy. Right? Daddy's home. Wait. Daddy's home. Why are you kicking him out? That's conservatism. They were the loyalists, not the progressives who who overthrew the king and the aristocracy that ruled Western civilization for 2,000 years. So, nothing more progressive than that. Right? That's not conservatism. Yeah, and when we get this country back, and well, then of course with the Civil War and everything, entirely too lenient on the traitors, Grant should have executed them. That's what should have happened. Lee should have been executed. Alexander Stevens should have been executed. Jefferson Davis should have been executed. For real. Especially Lee. They should have been stripped of all of their firearms. Fuck that. And you know that if the shoe was on the other foot, that's what would have happened. If Grant had to surrender to Lee, he would have been executed. There's no doubt. Yep. Because that's what happened. I wrote an article about that at the Political Voices Substack when it was the anniversary of Appomattox, of Lee surrendering. It's the 100, I don't remember how many years it was I wrote about it. The anniversary of us being entirely too lenient on conservative traitors. Just like January 6th. All Merrick Garland had to do was do his fucking job. That traitor Trump should have been in shackles on January 7th. For fuck's sake. Without apology. But what? What did he do? You know, he dragged his feet. He didn't want to upset the conservatives. Fuck them. And this is the problem. I mean, we have to get the media back. This is the problem, really, because they're like this because they're malinformed. And let's do well, for example, I guess we could talk about the South Park episode, which was great, very good, and I'm glad that they're not backing down. It's only going to get more. They're only going to do more of these episodes about Trump and his maladministration. There's no doubt, and I love it. I'm here for it. Let's see if I could play it. Where is it? We can play the clip that's on the South Park YouTube channel. Let's see. We'll put this over here. Let's play the clip. Hold on. Let me make this nice. Oh, no. All right. While I'm doing this, become a patron. Patreon.com/TaraDevlin. That's some e-begging mixed right in. Trying to do it on the DL. You can also, I don't know. If you're over at the Political Voices Substack, let me see. You can also, well, can you do me a favor and like and subscribe and all that stuff to Tarabuster on the YouTube channel too? Come on, guys. You gotta help me out here. Help me out. I'm putting it in the chat. All right, let's play this clip.
On business.
What?
Well.
All right. That's pretty funny. I don't like when, the animals getting hurt. But that's, you got to show the truth. That's what Kristi Noem did. She's had to take those tough decisions, as she said. Sometimes you got to make tough decisions and shoot your puppy in the face. Not tough, like go and maybe train your puppy. Or if you don't like training your puppy, why don't you just take it back to the shelter? Give it a chance. You don't drag it into a gravel pit and shoot it in the face. But, I'm not a sociopath. And then when she shot it in the face, she, what do you call it? She remembered the goat. That she hated this goat, and she shot and the poor goat suffered. She wasn't even accurate in shooting it. I mean, that's a sociopath. She is a sociopath. There's something wrong with these people, and I always say that Republicans don't get into government service, and I say service loosely. They're not serving anybody but themselves. They don't get into government for altruism. They don't help the people they pretend to represent. As evidence, the evidence is all in their poorly run red states, which the Democrats, if you're listening, when you talk about a red state, you add the qualifier, poorly run. Hold on, this is Tara. I'll be right back. So here's Kristi Noem was on Glenn Beck's podcast, I guess. Look at her. She's fucking plastic. All right, but let's listen to her. It was triggering.
When South Park did an episode, and Cartman played me the whole time.
Oh, really?
It took me about a year before I didn't even know it happened until like maybe a year later. I was so busy. I ended up years later watching it with my son, and we both laughed over it. But welcome to the club.
Well, I guess so. I didn't get to see it. I was going over
you didn't get to see it. The budget numbers, because everything has to be approved. Anything over $100,000 has to be approved by Kristi Noem, which is why it took 3 days to get rescue services and first responders from the Department of Homeland Security into Texas to help rescue people from their death. So Republicans creating more bureaucracy and needless death for no good reason, except why? I mean, they're unfit. They are unfit. I don't know why anybody votes for them. Can somebody answer me this question? Because wherever their policies are inflicted, there's needless suffering and death. And I'm not just saying that. We have the receipts. If their policies work, trust me, I would be all for it. Really. Wouldn't we? I mean, if everything that they're for, if it created success and unity and made everything great, why wouldn't we be for it? The fact is, they don't believe in the system that the founders fought a revolution to create and entrust to us. That's what it is. They're too lazy. They're too underwhelming. They're in government for their own phony baloney jobs. Like Kristi Noem. She's the one that made that effing infomercial about her teeth. She couldn't find a dentist in South Carolina. My God. And of course, there's so many things like Trader Trump. Like, for example, when he was in Scotland opening his tacky golf course, that video where Eric Trump and the other people that were standing around opening the video, the what do you call it, the golf course, that video was played on the official White House feed, on the website, on the government website feed. So this is who we are now. Forget the Hatch Act. They have nothing to stand on. They're so full of shit. It is all corruption all the time. That's it. You would think like every now and then they could do something good for the people they pretend to represent, but no. They want our tax dollars, and that's it. They want to give nothing. You know, in other countries, you pay your tax dollars, and your representatives go and they represent your community, and they try to get the piece of, different funding that your community needs. And it should be equitably and, fairly distributed and all that to make a more perfect union, to invest in things like education, healthcare, the things that actually make government or a country great. But not in this fucked up timeline. We pay our taxes and it goes to Kristi Noem's budget, to an unlimited, out of control Gestapo of masked thugs that are kidnapping people off the street. But okay, let's continue with Kristi Noem's response, her reaction to the South Park video.
You know, I just think it's, it never ends. But it's so lazy to just constantly make fun of women for how they look. Only the liberals and the extremists do that. If they wanted to criticize my job, go ahead and do that. But clearly they can't.
See, here's the thing, Kristi. It's not just your looks. We are criticizing your job. South Park did criticize your job. And then I'm not just making fun of the fact that you hate your own face. That's another criticism of who you are. You're a cosplaying, very sick person. Everything is you're a plastic pantomime of an actual human being. There was nothing wrong with her face before that, before she mutilated it. It was a nice face. There was nothing wrong with it, except, I mean, she has dead eyes. Yeah. Her eyes are fucking dead. Like all of them, they all have dead eyes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Trump has dead eyes. We've gone through this before. It is the stuff of nightmares. We put up the pictures. They have dead eyes. There's like nothing in their soul. Kristi Noem has dead eyes. Nancy Mace has dead eyes. They all have it. And so she boils it down to, they're making fun of my looks. No, you're just a caricature of somebody that actually knows what they're doing. That's why you got to dress up and put on cowboy outfits and astronaut outfits and construction workers. And I mean, it's a joke. That's what makes me, it's beyond, I don't even know. It's hard to, because I don't have a devious mind like that. I'm not a monster. So I don't know. I really don't understand how they don't, the voters who vote for them don't see right through them and don't see how pathetic it is, the way they behave, and how it's insulting. I would think that maybe you have a little self-respect to not be so easily played all the time. That's all it takes for you, maggots, to have some bitch put on a cowboy outfit and you'll just wipe your ass with the Constitution. That's all good, right? I mean, what do you get out of it? It has to be the racism. It has to be the cruelty. That's why they whine and cry and bitch and moan so much when it hits them. Because it's like, wait a minute. I'm a Trump voter. I just saw this thing, which was brilliant. Where is it? The owner of the Trump burger. There's some establishment, I'm sure very underwhelming and disgusting establishment. Yeah, Trump burger. Let me see. Immigration. I don't get it. Jesus Christ. No, hold on. This fucking thing. Let's see. Trump burger. Who named something Trump burger? He's not very appetizing. I mean, Trump steaks. What a disgrace. Greasy. He failed at selling meat through the mail, this guy. And apparently there were no sales of Trump steaks. Like, there was nothing to write home about. It was an utter failure. Yeah, the owner of Trump Burger, Roland Beanie, is facing deportation. Hold on a second. Be right back. Yes, he is Beainy. That's his name. Roland Beanie, I guess. Beanie? Was taken into ICE custody on May 16th, this year, and released on bond while his case is proceeding in an immigration court. There you go. If that ain't so much for gratitude there. His marriage is being questioned, whether he has a legitimate marriage. That was the basis of his green card application. He is scheduled for a hearing on November 20, in November. And I hope he gets fucking deported. Wouldn't that be great? There's a chain, the Trump Burger chain in Texas. How disgusting. Don't you have any dignity, people? Not you. I'm talking about these maggots. Oh my God in heaven. Look at this. Trump gives out crypto burgers. Oh, that's something different. And there he is. Getting deported. Well, not yet. I hope. Please get deported. Because these people, they get what's coming to them. I have no sympathy for them. Oh, well. Oh, fucking well. Hold on. Where is my Safari? There we go. Oh, here it is. Kristi.
Pick something petty like that.
Oh, petty. She's talking about her... Let me just roll this back a little bit.
It never ends.
It
but
never
it's so
ends.
lazy.
Poor baby. Is it lazy?
Fun of women for how they look. Only the liberals and the extremists.
Yeah, that's
do that.
it.
If they wanted to criticize my job, go ahead and do that.
We
but
are.
Clearly they can't. They just
see, Kristi, they are criticizing your job. You see, the whole thing is a criticism of your job. Your face is just another clear, obvious, low-hanging fruit that they can mock because no one hates their face more than somebody that spent all that money to turn it into a spitting image puppet. Because clearly that's what it is. She needed a dead face to match her dead eyes, I guess. And there was nothing wrong with her face before. But yes, Kristi, I guess, it's easy for them to say, well, that's liberals just making fun of my face. No, it's liberals, normal people, just using some very astute or creating some very astute political satire that hits close to the bone. Clearly, because you're talking about it. And you're giving it more power. You're giving it more energy. You're making sure that more people are going to watch it. And you're going to be mocked. Rightfully so. Just like those ICE agents, they're the domestic enemies the founders warned us about. I mean, we have a Gestapo roaming the country, and you think that they, can't come for you. Like Trump said, the homegrowns are next. That's what they're doing. Because when all hell breaks loose in the Trump recession/depression that's coming, thanks to his abhorrent policies, they have this police state that has more funding than the funding of some foreign armies. The army of France, the whole military of France, doesn't have as much money as this ICE bullshit. And what's so sinister is that they're signing young people up. They're trying to recruit young people, and of all ages too. They've opened it up, so all you got to be is someone with no decency, and maybe desperate too. So they cut student loans in the country. They make it harder for people to go to school, for young people to get an education. And then they offer them $50,000 signing bonuses or for education. That's how you're going to get your education now. All you got to do is turn against your fellow Americans. You have to help this lawless maladministration turn America into a police state. And there will be some who will take them up on their offer, no doubt, of course, because people are desperate, and the more and unemployment, the more they destroy the economy, the less jobs there are, more people will be desperate enough to join this lawless ICE. And the fact that they have to wear masks, I mean, I'm telling you guys, as we know, they're not going to go down in history as the good guys. This is a very dark time in American history. And shame on them. What's heartening, though, is the fact that the American people are disgusted by it. They're not staying out of it. They're not staying silent. They're stopping them when they see this happening. People are gathering. They're mocking these ICE monsters. They're videoing it. They're getting the word out. They're doing what they can. They're telling these ICE agents, shame on you. Shame on you. If you have to put on a mask to go to work, you're not the good guy in the story. And history will, there will be a reckoning. There will be an accounting of this. There has to be. Otherwise, we're doomed. And before I continue, I want to thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Not only are you a moderator, you're also a super chatter. Thank you. And Robyn, thank you for your super chat. Yes, brilliant. Thank you. I don't know if you're talking about me or the show or something we were watching. Oh, no, the South Park, probably. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. I mean, the cruelty. It's not just the cruelty is the point anymore. It's the cruelty is, I don't even know. It's just endemic in the whole thing. And this has to come to an end. And this is why when we get this country back, we have to be unapologetically, thank you, Robyn. Me in South Park, that's nice of you to say. But we have to unapologetically reclaim our history, reclaim our country, reclaim the narrative. Oh, well, let's play Nancy Mace, speaking of reclaiming the narrative. I'm sure you saw this. Nancy Mace got fact-checked to her face, and she didn't like it. She's another one. I don't understand these people. Who votes for a Nancy Mace? Whoops, wrong button.
I noticed that there's one.
Hold on. While I'm pulling this up, please become a patron. Patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Thank you for hanging out. Please remember to subscribe, to like, hit the notification bell on the YouTube channel and on the Substack if you can. Follow my Substack, all that stuff, please. Please. I can only e-beg so much. I really don't like it. Oh, look at her face, talking about dead eyes, right? If that, am I wrong, guys, on the chat? Those are dead eyes. They have no life. But I guess it's a byproduct of being a horrible person, of being a liar, of doing nothing for your community, much less your country. Everything is a show for Nancy Mace. To Nancy Mace. That's all she does, is put on an act for people. And she's monstrous. Where she uses slurs against trans people. She's just a horrible kiss-up, kick-down monster. But listen, so a reporter asked her a question, because she's another one, just like I was saying, how Republicans love to take credit for the policies that they vote against. They love to take credit for Democratic policies, just like they like to position themselves as the champions of Social Security and Medicare, while they fucking do everything in their power to destroy those programs, and have ever since FDR and Johnson signed them into law. But here we go, because prove me if correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Republicans have never done a single thing to improve the lives of the American people. Am I wrong? Can somebody think of anything, a policy that they have backed? Oh, those the $1,000 baby, Trump baby. Fuck you, Trump baby. Hold on. $1,000 Trump bank account. I mean, can you? I guess when you have a newborn, that should last you about, I don't know, a week, a whole week. And as they said, and what's his name, Besant, said that these Trump accounts, and of course they have to be labeled Trump account. That's another thing. When we get this country back, everything with that fucker's name on it has to be erased, like they used to do in ancient Rome. When they did that to Nero, they did that to Caligula. They sentence you to be erased from history. That's what has to happen. Your name goes off all the statues, all the monuments, anywhere. What is it? Dominion? I can't speak Latin, but I'll look it up. All right, let's play this. Dead-eyed bitch.
The accomplishments, things you were touting was the
And that's not me with the echo. This thing has an echo for some reason. I don't know. It's the way it is.
2016 interchange.
What was the exit at Long Point Road? Yeah, not the interchange, but yeah.
But that funding came from the Inflation Reduction Act, which you voted against.
Right.
Is that an accomplishment then? Is that something you can tout?
No, absolutely. I mean, absolutely I can tout that. And you're a raging Democrat, so raging leftist.
Thank you.
Questioning. And I would say as a woman, you might want to think about how
you
view other women and how
really?
you treat other women, the way that you question
Poor
them.
thing.
Because women are
the
going
way
to lead
you
this
question
country
them.
off the brink, and conservative women. The first female president of this country is going to be a conservative woman, not some liberal like you.
Okay, again, just a question about the bill.
Again, bitch. I just love that. You're a raging Democrat? Oh, thank you. That's what you should have responded. Okay. And you're a liberal? Okay, thanks. Thanks for the compliment. And the president of the country is going to be a conservative woman, not some liberal like you. What does it have to do with what we're talking about? You child. You tedious, whiny child. Yeah, because, you caught me. Caught in the act of being myself, and, I'm a dead-eyed, smirking, smearing little goddamn lick-spittle of a fascist, and I'm making me a fascist. Yeah. And the first woman president is going to be a conservative. Like, did I fucking... talk about a non sequitur. Okay, honey, do you need help? Are you okay? The reporter was good. I don't know. I would have just said, honey, you're ridiculous. Do you ever get a hold of yourself? But I guess you can't really react like that to their faces, because you're giving them what they want. They're getting a rise out of you. It's not a rise. It's just sort of like you're ridiculous. You're a joke. Do you get a hold of yourself? Do you listen to yourself? Yeah, you're a raging Democrat and a liberal. Okay, great, thank you. You're a traitor. So I'm a patriot. Okay, we're clear. That's, you voted. You're such a woman, protector of women, that you're cheering a sexual abuser, a rapist, adjudicated rapist, who palled around with a goddamn pedophile for 20 years and shared wonderful secrets with him. and now doesn't want to release all of the evidence because his name is all over it. Now, if anybody's name is all over a bunch of documents, court documents, flight logs, depositions, witness testimony, witness, under oath testimony, if your name is all over those kind of documents, you're not a bystander. You're a participant in the sexual abuse. And there is something, even if you didn't participate, let's give him that benefit of the doubt, which I'm sure he did. But of course, he participated 1,000%, as Katie Johnson's testimony told us. But let's say he just knew what was going on. That's called accessory after the fact, isn't it? When you are the witness to sex trafficking of underage girls for decades, and you say nothing, and you come and go, and you withhold evidence, and you plead the fifth, and you do whatever the fuck it takes not to get these girls help, not to get them free from their oppressors, from the bondage, from the chains and shackles that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell put on them. See, if that's Trump for you, Nancy Mace. She says she's a survivor of rape. I don't know. To me, I know that Tara Dublin always says, you got to believe her. You just take her at her face value. I'm sus about it. Really, I'm as sus, she calls herself a patriot too, so hello, that's clearly not the case. Okay, let's say she is. How much do you hate yourself to enable a rapist? I mean, he's a rapist, bitch. And she goes on the floor of the house, and she didn't she accuse her ex of raping her? And now she's being sued for defamation but she does it on the floor of the house because she can say whatever she wants on the floor of the house because of that old speech and debate clause. They can't be held accountable for the lies they tell on the floor of the house because she's protected. So she could call anybody a rapist. She could say anything about anybody, and they can't defend themselves. So I'm a little sus about her, but it doesn't matter. That's the least of her offenses against humanity. She's disgusting. I mean, she should, what did she say? Yeah, she's just so gross, but she's not the first, and she won't be the last to take credit for things that she voted against. Now, she touted this public transit and infrastructure project that was built or is being built in her district, funded by the infrastructure law. Oh, and because of Joe Biden, it's officially called the bipartisan infrastructure law, which, you know what? Fuck that. Right? Isn't that's Democrats for you. That's Joe Biden for you. The bipartisan infrastructure law. Do you think that the Republicans would be that magnanimous? But there you go again, Democrats. That's Joe Biden. Everything was bipartisan. Look, I did it with the Republicans. Look, it's bipartisan this, it's bipartisan that. If you can get one of these monsters to finally vote with you to do something for the American people, not just the billionaires, then it's bipartisan. So now it's called the bipartisan. It just bothers me. The bipartisan infrastructure law. No, it's not bipartisan. It is goddamn Democrats did that. And, it's making Infrastructure Week no longer a laugh line, even though Republicans, see, this is why you can't give them credit. Because you know what it is? I think the Democrats, that kind, the Joe Biden type, thinks that if you're kind and you adult for them. You model good adult behavior that eventually the Republicans will want to participate. They'll act like adults and they'll join you in this governing thing, in this thing of ours that so many patriots, not Trump, fought, bled, and died to create and entrust to us. The thing that was birthed and inspired by the liberal age of enlightenment that the Republicans loathe. That's why they're dragging us back to the system that the founders overthrew, where everybody knows their place. Right? Kiss up, kick down. You hit hard times, you go to the church. Tell me I'm wrong. This is exactly what they're doing. All you gotta do is take their policies and just imagine, take them to their conclusion, and we have the system that the founders overthrew. What the hell? Are you kidding me? Is it already the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show? What? I can't believe this. I feel like I blinked. Guys, thank you for hanging out. This is not really the end of the show. You can come over to youtube.com/c4channel/Tarabuster or the Political Voices Substack and watch the end of the show. Or check it out on iTunes. Give the show a good review. That helps. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Become a patron, patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. We will win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. See you soon. All right. We're here. We're back. I can't believe that. What? I feel like I blinked. So, what was I saying? Nancy Mace, let's see. Oh, yeah. She touted I was talking about the infrastructure thing. How, no. You don't, stop being so nice to Republicans. I hope those days are over. Okay? I'm liking a little bit of what I'm seeing with some Democrats fighting, finally. But one thing, for example, with California redistricting now, good, because of these filthy fascists trying to steal 5 seats in Texas. I'm glad the Democrats aren't just sitting idly by and say, oh, we can't because if we do that, then they do that. This is what we hear all the time from Democrats. Well, we can't play tit for tat because then they'll just come back and do that and that, like with the Supreme Court. When people are like, expand the court, for Christ's sakes. This is a corrupt and illegitimate court. And what did Joe Biden say? Well, you can't do that because then you get then the next party gets in and they expand the court and then they expand the court and we expand the court. Fuck it. At this point. How about that as a strategy? Because you can't run a civilization or try to save it from these filthy fascists by projecting what they might do in the future. Cut them off at the pass now. It's unbelievable. But now, so in California, when Gavin Newsom says, yeah, we will be expanding we will be, putting this on a ballot measure and hope to get at least 5, they're calling for 5 new Democratic seats. Fuck that. 10 seats, 20 seats. Make California entirely blue. Every seat. You want to try it? Maggots? Okay. That's what you got to do. So, and then every other blue state, because guess what, people? People live in the blue states. We have a lot more population. You can't just draw a map around a bunch of the fruited plains you want to frack. So don't even try it with they're going to put 5 seats. We'll make 5 seats. Fuck that. Make it 50. Make it however many seats. Fuck these people. We're sick of it. We're here because they are corrupt. Exactly. Every district, every blue state. Yeah, let's do it. Time to play. You want to play a game, maggots? Let's do it. You have screwed this country up too far, for far too long, you lawless fucks. Enough is enough. And we're doing it to save the Constitution from you, because you are the enemies that I took an oath to defend the Constitution against. I and so many like me. And not traitor Trump, though, because his feet he's hurt. His feet he's hurt. And none of his kids either. But I love when I see maggots. I see these maggot Russian-funded influencers like Tim Pool. He could join the military. I mean, you know, they raised the age of enlistment to, I think, 42 now. So you could join, maggots. What are you waiting for? Your dear leader is calling you. So, but anyway. Nancy Mace touted public transit and infrastructure project in her district funded by the bipartisan infrastructure law, despite having called the law, wait for it, socialist. It's a socialist wish list, and she voted against it. Well, fucking, why am I not surprised? They're hypocrites. They're disgusting. They are the enemies of the people. South Carolina is another poorly run red state. She should be embarrassed. And the people of South Carolina should be embarrassed to keep sending her back. When are they sending her back? They don't have enough entertainment on Netflix? They can watch any kind of reality show. This is another golden age of television happening now. There's so many great TV shows. Thank God. Because I like to sometimes disappear in some of them and pretend that Republicans don't exist. That's how I like to cleanse my mind. But, I mean, you can watch a lot of very interesting shows, very much more entertaining than Nancy Mace in her fucking pajamas, or Kristi Noem in all of her outfits. Is that what it takes? Like, you know, it's like a kid, though, I suppose. They're very easily entertained because they don't have much going on. I mean, their brains are still developing. I mean, geez. Oh, I wrote South Park. I was writing because I'm just looking up the stats. I should have these stats at my fingertips by now. And because, you know, this is what Democrats need to do whenever they talk about red states. They have to say poorly run red states. And Nancy Mace, for example. Count the ways. How is South Carolina? Let's see. And like Mitch McConnell, you know, that's the other thing. He's retiring, Mitch McConnell, after decades watching or decades in power, watching the people of his state slip lower and lower and lower on the ladder. How does he dare show his face in his community? Wouldn't you be embarrassed? That's what I always think. I would be ashamed of myself if I was sent to Washington by my community to, you know, do good things for the community, and I come home and the community is worse for me being there. I would be so embarrassed. Right? But you know what? I guess when you're a sociopath, you're not embarrassed. You hate the people you pretend to represent, and you have no respect for them. After all, how can you respect people that continue to vote for their own demise? That's what I always wonder. How do they respect the Trump, that baboon, traitor Trump? He doesn't respect the maggots. Of course not. How can you? How do you respect people who hate themselves, who are eager dupes? You don't. The con man does not respect his marks. That's what I'm so sick of these maggots. They're all over. I see them all the time because this is what I do, right? But I go on their websites. I go on the conservative Reddit page. They love to drink our tears. They love owning the libs. You're not owning us, though, bitch. You own yourself. That's the sad part. We're just trying to make sure you don't have to needlessly die without health care. But you're really insisting on it. South Carolina is poorly run at both the state and local levels. Let's count the ways. The state's legislative branch, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's corrupt. Major corruption scandals, such as in the State House, indictments of legislators. It's all Republican run, dark money, ineffective reforms, because they got their hand out. They're all looking for their own payday. Legislative priorities ignoring the will of the people. They have a strict abortion ban, despite poll after poll showing that a clear majority of South Carolinians oppose strict abortion bans. Well, there you go. That's another thing we were talking about with John Fugelsang on the Tara Show on Thursday, that Democrats have to reclaim the narrative. How many times have I said it on this show? Talking about if you're pro-life, anybody truly pro-life should vote Democratic. That's all the Democrats have to say. Because Democrats, the abortion rate goes down on the Democratic policies. And Republicans vote against every policy, every Democratic policy that actually reduces the abortion rate. All they do is kill women. Republicans make more abortions. They love abortions. Their policies create so many of them. And all they do is not only cause more abortions, they kill women. All it does, criminalizing abortion does, is make abortion unsafe and kill women. So, if they didn't like abortion, they would vote for health care, living wages, retirement security, education, not just sex education, but education. Build the working class, give the working class built that infrastructure of democracy underneath the working class with a strong social safety net, and watch the abortion rate go down, as it does in every country. So all they do is criminalize abortion and make it unsafe and kill women and heap more suffering upon an already traumatic situation. That's all they do, is cause more trauma, more pain, more division. And that's the numbers. The abortion rate is up in the country since the corrupt and illegitimate Supreme Court overturned Roe. So, expand the court. So let's see. Gun safety, medical marijuana, and teaching accurate history is another way that, they teach inaccurate history in South Carolina, because I guess they think the people are stupid, and they need them that way. Stupid people vote Republican. Stupid, ugly, racist, horrible, immoral, emotionally stunted people vote Republican. Let's see. The latest civil engineers report card gave South Carolina's infrastructure a grade of D, because the Republicans do nothing for the people they pretend to represent. In order to revitalize infrastructure over the years, you have to tax people. You got to tax the rich, but they can't do that. So they do bathroom bills. They make sure that trans people can't go to the bathroom. They do they give their assholes who continue to vote for them, the suckers and dupes, they give them all that bullshit. Yeah, look at me. I said tranny I misgendered somebody. They're so fucking horrible. And, of course, South Carolina ranks near the bottom in healthcare resources. It is 44th in clinical care access with poor hospital bed availability. It's only going to get worse now. Okay? Because of the big, ugly bill. Oh, but don't worry. Trump has his Sharpie. He'll just be able to put a number in there. Whatever number he wants. They're so fucking embarrassing. Yes, and also South Carolina cities, some cities are consistently listed among the worst run cities nationwide due to problems with management, services, and local governance. Yeah. Oh, and they're very gerrymandered. I guess that's why she still has her seat. Well, she's gerrymandered. They passed several voter restriction bills, partisan gerrymandering. Jesus Christ. The crime rate is persistent issues and environmental health. Let me see, what time is it? There were so many things I wanted to talk about tonight. Where's the time? Okay, well, let's keep going. Well, she sucks. Just saying. That's my very astute and scintillating political commentary. Nancy Mace sucks. And they all do. I wanted to play this. Where is it? Candace Owens is crying. Oh, I hate her. Legally and peacefully. I really hate her. And this is the problem, It gets me annoyed here. Little old me, if you can imagine. I get annoyed sometimes that people like Candace Owens don't have to say, please become a patron. I'm here. Please become a patron. Please become a patron. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Follow my Substack. Blah, 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 blah. Right? It gets tiring. But this bitch, this horrible, horrible person, let me be nice for 1 second. No, I'm just kidding. I won't be nice. She's spreading, she's a vomit. She's vomit. She's a vomit person. And she's, set. Except now, she's got a net worth apparently of $5 million, but she's afraid that she's going to lose it. Well, she's also, I think she's married to of course she's married to somebody white because she hates herself. So I'm just kidding. Not that, interracial or whatever, it's not interracial. It's mixed pigment marriage. Different pigment marriage. There's nothing, race. Race is a construct, right? But she's just somebody. They love Candace Owens. She tried the liberal shtick. She tried it, but there's no money in it. You see, she realized, just like what Sean Hannity said to Mike Malloy all those years ago. Oh, you're still doing you're still doing the liberal talk. The money's in conservatism. So there you go. Sean Hannity's the stupidest man in media. Well, now there's a lot of contenders. But Candace Owens tried the liberal shtick, and there was no money in it. But now it fits into her narrative. She says, I used to be a liberal. She's like Anna Kasparian. She was nothing. She's a huckster. She's a grifter. Candace Owens. She's a horrible person. I mean, I was watching Hal Sparks the other day. He was playing clips of her literally interviewing Harvey Weinstein, but interviewing him as the victim. Okay? He's the victim in her narrative. He was the victim. He was set up. It was Gloria Allred was setting it, this poor put upon serial rapist. Even though we have him on tape saying, please, 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 show me your boobs. Show me, oh, please, please, like begging somebody. And she's like, please, leave me alone. Go away. Stop groping me. You fucking vile thing. But, I mean, that's what we're talking about. Candace Owens has, how many millions of followers. It just drives me up a wall. But this is what we're dealing with, because liberal voices are suppressed, that's for sure. Shadow banned, all that other shit. It's the truth. That's why I keep saying, you gotta help. You gotta help me out here. Anyway, let's listen to her. She's being sued now, okay? And great. And she's upset. You know, she's upset that she's being sued, and she can't look at herself in the mirror and say, shit, I fucked up. I've been lying to you dumbasses with every inflammatory statement. That's her shtick, you know? She has to stir up, even more bullshit. You know, the bullshit just gets more outrageous. Although that's how she attracts her viewers and listeners and all the dumbasses, the very, the swill of the internet. The people that go on the internet not to learn or, you could do anything on the internet, of course. You can learn the classics. You could read the classics. You can learn history. You can, there's so many, there's no excuse anymore. You could you learn about the cultures of the world. But these very small, underwhelming MAGA types go online to have their insanity confirmed. And they go to Candace Owens because she is a human shield for their bigotries. They like that. They need that. Like Diamond and Silk used to be. Because, until their Republican policies killed one of them. But they love Diamond and Silk. See, that's what I bring them up, because Diamond and Silk who the fuck were they? They were not very interesting, but they were people of color, of darker pigment, and they liked that. And the Fox News put them online, put them on their shows, and then they were invited to the White House. Didn't happen just like that, but it's another example. This is what happens on the right. They support their small independent media personalities or channels because they understand that they have nothing in reality to boast about. While the Democrats are out putting white papers out or, talking about bipartisan this and that, trying to get the Republicans to act like adults for once in their rotten, useless lives. The Republicans are focusing on their propaganda because that's all they have. So they knew that they wanted that wherever people go, that they wanted them to encounter the filthy fascist message. So whether it be on YouTube or Facebook or Fox News, you turn on, a means of communications, you turn on the media, you're going to find a conservative, so-called. Your head's going to be filled with all sorts of conservative vomit. And that's what they needed. To get people to vote for their own demise. But the Democrats never understood that they had to support the independent liberal media outlets too. Otherwise, we're doomed. But they wouldn't do that because here's the other thing. MSNBC is not the liberal media. CNN is not the liberal media. It's different. It's the corporate media. So they're not going to put on me because I'm saying tax the rich. They're run by these rich people. It's pro-corporate. That's it. But the Democrats have got to, get a grip and they have to really play the game. And support, shows like this, smaller independent liberal outlets like the Political Voices Network, which I hope will be a bigger network one day with your support. And why not? It has to be. Otherwise, we're doomed. I'm telling you guys. I'm not just saying this. I'm not Candace Owens. I wouldn't do this if I didn't believe in it. If I didn't think that it was absolutely vital for our survival as a country, and as a country, as a democratic republic, as a constitutionally limited democratic republic. I believe in the promises of our founding documents. Regardless, of course, the founders never actualized them, but we have a chance, and the closer we get to that's when the Republicans and the filthy fascists, the Elon Musks and all their owners, and I mean the owners like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, these Nazis, these outright Nazis, and I'm not just saying that. It's not they're Nazis. The Nazis know they're Nazis. They are Nazis, raised by Nazis, trying to turn America into an authoritarian state. So this is what we're up against. Okay. So Candace Owens, she's being sued by the French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte Macron, after this horrible person, Owens, repeatedly promoted this false claim that Brigitte Macron is transgender, and that the couple is involved in an incestuous relationship. I mean, you got to get more swillish, but I guess she never expected Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte Macron to sue her. So now she's being sued for defamation and damages, for unspecified damages. And they're saying that Owens has led a relentless, year-long campaign of defamation, years long, to promote her brand and profit financially. Yeah. So, I guess she just thought that the president of France, because of who he is, would just let it slide. But instead of going, oopsie, I'm sorry, my dumbass audience, I've lied to you about Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron. I've been telling you lies for years because I want to get you all triggered, and that triggers the algorithm, and that makes me rich. I get more views, and you share it, and it's angertainment, and I know that you hate trans people, so. But listen, this is her whining about it. Instead of saying mea culpa, I'm sorry, guys, they pulled my covers, I've lied, and I'm sorry, and please drop your case. I am Candace Owens. Who can take me seriously? She's saying that she's a champion of free speech and wants Donald Trump to intervene. Listen. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button here.
I think about it, the more absurd it is.
Yeah,
now, the Trump administration, who purports to care about free speech, that was what they ran on. Of course, they're not doing any of that stuff anymore. They're creating DEI for Israel and pushing through laws to redefine anti-Semitism. But they pretended to care about free speech, and you had J.D. Vance, who went over there to Europe and gave a whole speech, tisk to all of you European leaders that are no longer listening to what your constituents want and are instead punishing them for their speech. If the majority of your constituents think something, you can't create laws and punish them. Right? That was kind of the gist of his speech. The markets have decided what they want, and now you're punishing these people. That's crazy, he said. America's going to be a leader. We don't believe in this. We won't support this. Then you have a literal European leader that is basically saying F you to the American Constitution. Right? Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte are saying, you know what? We don't like that podcaster in America. And we are going to launch a lawsuit that's never been launched before, an unprecedented lawsuit to impoverish her for speaking. And both J.D. Vance and Trump have not issued a statement. In fact, where are the journalists even asking them to make a statement?
Can you believe this, bitch? If this isn't malignant narcissism, she's the victim now. She's just a champion of free speech, and how dare the French spit in the face of the American Constitution, the First Amendment. See, there they go again, you know? They want all the benefits of freedom, right? They want all the benefits of civilization, but none of the responsibilities. They can't help the vomit that comes out of their mouths. There's no responsibility. This is the party of personal responsibility that takes no responsibility. Well, you said it. The First Amendment allows you to say whatever swill you want to say, but it doesn't stop the consequences. There's a reaction. You can say whatever you want, but we also have a right. We're free to have a reaction to it, whether you like it or not, Candace. That's not the First Amendment, right? The First Amendment isn't Candace Owens gets to bully and abuse and lie about people, and nobody can do anything about it. They don't get to have a reaction. You're not free to react to it in your own way. You're not free to hold her accountable. See, that's what she's upset about. She doesn't want to be held accountable. They're going to impoverish her. Well, I hope so. Maybe that's when you'll learn. But I doubt it. Wouldn't that be great? It's like Alex Jones. He never learned, did he? He's still out there pushing that swill. And she says it in another video I have. I'm not sure if we'll have the time to get to it. We'll see. But where at the end she's like, and Brigitte Macron is a man. She's still saying it. So, just like what happened with E. Jean Carroll. And then that's why Trump went out that night, the day he was found liable for sexually abusing or assaulting E. Jean Carroll. He went out and lied about it again, and she turned right around and took him right back to court, where he promptly lost again. So, I mean, don't you love how they whine and bitch and moan and fart and scream and burp and belch about, I'm being held responsible for my actions. How dare they? Trump, daddy. I thought daddy was home. See, when you're young and you're a baby and you have a daddy and, you say stupid things, and then daddy comes in and daddy makes it better for you. Because you have no control over your mouth. You have no control over the lies. See, you're just a good Republican. The only thing that matters is greed and putting poison into people's brains. And those clicks, get that good money coming in. Are they trying to impoverish you? Maybe. Maybe they're trying to shut you the fuck up. Maybe they're trying to make you learn a lesson. That's why there's fines when you go to court, you commit a crime. You don't just go to jail. They put fines on your ass too. Because it's got to hurt sometimes. You got to pay your debt to society, Candace. I don't get it. She's like Tommy Lauren and all these maggots love. They listen to her. Who is she? What does she bring to the table except, she's a young, attractive, physically. She's ugly on the inside. Really. She's a horrible person. So that's not attractive at all. But she's got that, that's what they like. And she's got darker pigment, so she's a human shield for their bigotries. But she brings nothing to the table. Tommy Lauren, that's another one, right? I don't know where she's been. She's still around. But she literally, before she became one of these breakout stars for Maggotville, literally months before, she's another one of these rich, born on third base, thinking she hit a triple. She was tweeting about summer school sucks. That you can't make it up. Summer school sucks, and then she's like, "I hate working at my mom's store. At least It's boring, but at least it's chill as fuck. That's what she said. I hate working, but at least it's my mom's store and it's chill as fuck. I mean, what? So, but here, let's keep going with her because it's just beyond.
Okay, a state leader is speaking about your constituent and launching a lawsuit and saying you're going to impoverish them for executing their First Amendment right. Where are you?
You're not executing. That's not what you're being sued for. They're not suing you for exercising your First Amendment rights. They're suing you for your filthy, swill, lie-filled hole that can't stop poisoning the air and everyone around you with your lies and your filth and your disgusting, bullyish attacks on people that, why don't you just fuck off to obscurity already? She's got a rich husband, right? You go be a trad wife. Jesus Christ. They're just never stop. But you're not the hero, just like Trader Trump is not the man of peace. They're trying to impoverish your constituent. Help, Daddy. They're trying to impoverish me. Well, they wouldn't if you wouldn't stop lying about them. Maybe this would not be happening. There's a cause and effect to life. But that's not the maggot way. Maggots want all the benefits of civilization. They want all the benefits of society. They just don't want the responsibilities. It's the same thing. Oh, cancel culture. It's cancel culture. Well, what are you being canceled for? That's the other thing that always drives me up a wall. I'm being canceled. Well, what happened? For nothing, for my free speech. Well, because you're, a Nazi. I mean, it's something. You like to say the N-word. You're a horrible person. It's part of being free. We get to have a reaction to it. You could say whatever you want, but we get to have a reaction. Oh boy, guys, I can't believe that was. Well, I mean, we'll finish the Candace Owens clip. But that is the Tarabuster show for Friday night. A little bit more. There'll be a little bit extra. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for keeping the show going and growing. And for your support of the community cats. We will win. Become a patron, patreon.com/TaraDevlin. Please follow my Substack at the Political Voices Network, if you can. And all the other things, like and subscribe and blah, 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 blah. And there you go. That's the e-begging. Let's just finish the clip for the night, for the Candace Owens night. We'll call it a night.
Have done if you purport to care about America and our Constitution as you're supposed to be the person that's defending them day in and day out, you would come out and you would say, I don't even know whether I believe that she's a man or woman. Doesn't matter, right? I don't
know if I believe that she's a man or a woman. Who the fuck are you? Why don't you shut your mouth and just call people what they want to be called? This is what's so annoying. You don't have to believe shit. You don't have to believe a thing. I mean, it's not your business. Of course, she's not trans, but that's none of your business. You're just being a filthy bigot. You're just trying to get your clicks and get all your base, whatever the horrible audience that you have that tunes into you deliberately. Jesus Christ. Trying to get them all worked up. 'Cause it works. One of the greatest things I saw recently regarding Candace Owens was that she was barred from entering Australia last year. That is so beautiful. What is it like living in a civilized country? Australian Immigration Minister Tony Burke rejected her visa. She was supposed to go. She was invited to go to Australia by other, I guess, maggot types, because they're all over. We don't have a corner market on fascists. That's for sure. We just have them in power now. That's the problem. See, America doesn't have a corner market on morons, on fascists, on racists. We just have them in power now. And shame on us. Shame on everybody who voted for that. You should be ashamed. Forever. Shame. I will never forgive and I will never forget. You voted for this. You are not my friend. You should be ashamed. Unless you say, I'm sorry. I was a racist. All these other things. I want to see families torn apart. I want to see mass Gestapo in the streets. I want the next Republican Great Depression. I want everyone to lose their jobs. I want veterans to be kicked out of their government jobs. So I don't like government to run. I want it when I call up Social Security. I want to be on hold all day. Right? I don't want things to function. I want to go on GoFundMe for medical care. I like that 17 million and more Americans are going to lose their health care because I want to see them suffer and die. I like the fact that Granny's coming home with dementia because she's no more room at the nursing home because it's closed. Rural hospitals. I like the fact that when all of these maggots in these red states have a heart attack from their bad, poor white boy, high cholesterol diets, that they're not going to make it to the hospital because it's 2 hours away now, thanks to the Republican policies. I like that. I want to see people needlessly die. I want to see death by despair go up. Because I'm not happy as a Republican. I'm not happy unless Americans are dying needlessly, unless they're suffering, unless they're divided, ugly, angry, fighting amongst each other. But yeah, I mean, when I saw that about Australia, I was like, wow, there are decent people in the world, and they do put their foot down sometimes. So the Australian immigration minister in October of 2024 rejected Candace Owens' visa, saying that he has the capacity, that Owens had the capacity to incite discord in almost every direction, that her controversial remarks about the Holocaust, because she's a Holocaust denier. She's one of those. She denies that the Nazis performed medical experimentation on the Jews. She's one of them. She's a real rotten bottom feeder. And I don't know if she believes this stuff either. That's what makes it worse. It's like Nancy Mace. I mean, they just have no decency. They have no standards. They will say anything. They will poison any mind for $1. It's like Trader Trump. They have no bottom. And the immigration minister, Tony Burke, the Australian immigration minister, said, Australia's national interest is best served when Candace Owens is somewhere else. I was like, wow, standing ovation. Yep, and then New Zealand, out of the consequences of Australia banning her and denying her a visa, New Zealand denied her a visa as well. This they cited a rule that prevents issuing an entertainer a visa, issuing entertainer visas to anyone recently banned from another country. This caused Owens' planned speaking tour to be canceled. Cancel culture. And that's how you do it. Why would you let COVID into your country? Right? That's what all they were doing. They shut down their borders. There was an infestation that was coming. That was a disease. A diseased mind was coming to spread her disease. She said that, and then she addressed it on her podcast, saying that the Australian authorities were lying and that she was being silenced because of her political views. Yeah. No, you're not being... You could still spread your swill. You just can't come and do a tour in their country. God, why couldn't I have been born in Australia or New Zealand? Yeah. They cited her history of inflammatory, misleading, and historically false public statements regarding the Holocaust and other marginalized groups. See, that has consequences other places. And it does have consequences here. We have a First Amendment, so she could say those things, but we can have a reaction to it.
The series fair. He didn't watch the series. He could even say, like he said to me on the phone, that I looked at her real close on the Eiffel Tower and it looked like a woman to me. Okay, you can say all those things.
How dare
you should say it's
you?
Unacceptable. I'm a leader of this country. It is unacceptable that this leader would threaten the First Amendment in any way. We
How
don't need
dare
Pam
you?
Bondi rushing to issue a...
It's not the first. You understand? Like, she's conflating her filthy lies to the First Amendment. You're not a freedom fighter, Candace. You're the problem. I don't understand. You know, that's why it gets me nuts here. This one, I'm like, please become a patron. Okay, I don't want to go there again. You get the point.
A statement about a college male that's been shoved by a student for wearing an IDF shirt.
Oh, shut your hole.
We don't need the federal government getting involved on something so meaningless. But we might need our federal government when it comes to this.
No,
okay? The job of the federal government is to defend us against foreign invaders. And I would pretty much say Emmanuel Macron right now is being a foreign invader.
Get a load of these freaks. A foreign invader. Because she's being sued for the swill that comes out of her mouth. Well, that's not being invaded. In fact, I would say that the Macrons were probably feeling pretty invaded by your filthy lies, by your incessant lies, disrupting their lives. God knows, whenever these maggots turn their attention on you, life is not improved. In fact, this one last thing before we go. I know we're going into overtime here. Speaking of, I had enough looking at her face here. Where is it? Officer Fanone posted this. Michael Fanone. I hope I can get him on, the Tara show at least, right? He posted this morning.
Got a bag of dog shit. So I woke up this morning, came outside to walk my dogs, and there was a message left for me on my vehicle overnight. Let me show you guys here. What we've got is got a bag of dog shit, and we got a note. Let's see what the note says. The note says, "Don't get it twisted. This isn't political. You're just a piece of shit."
Isn't that nice?
And it's a bag full of dog shit. So, this is Trump's America.
Yep.
This is MAGA.
MAGA.
And this is what those of us that speak out
Maggot.
against MAGA deal with on a daily fucking basis.
Yep. Maggots are the enemies of the people. I see Bill in the chat. MAGA. MAGA. That's all they can say because they have nothing in their brains. It's just MAGA. Like the vomit. It's like the sweaty pores of a tax-cheating, draft-dodging, serial bankrupt con man's taint. MAGA. How much do you have to hate yourself? And when I saw that, I thought, history will revile MAGA, maggots, as we know. Michael Fanone is a hero who stood up to the traitors who stormed the Capitol on the word of the tax-cheating, draft-dodging, serial bankrupt, convicted felon rapist who palled around with a pedophile and shared wonderful secrets with him for 20 years. And but the MAGA, the maggot who left the dog poop on the guy's car, of course, that's how maggots roll. Like a maggot, like a cockroach in the night. Coward. That's what they are. Cowards. They show up in the middle of the night. He would never go over to Michael Fanone and talk to him, or whoever it was. I'm sure it was a MAGA man, putting that mildly. I mean, they're man-child. But because they're cowards. That's the one thing they have in common. They're all cowards. All maggots are cowards. Look at their standard bearer. Look at the serial bankrupt, tax-cheating, convicted felon, convicted rapist that they worship, who sent the mob to storm the Capitol because he wasn't man enough to respect the peaceful transfer of power that was good enough for George Washington, but not for traitor Trump, because he and all the rest of his maggots hate America. They hate this country. That's how they operate, in the middle of the night. They come out with a little bag of poop and leave it on the car. Because what else do they have to offer? I think if a maggot offered anything of value, of substance, to anything, to the conversation, to the community, to the country, the whole world would collectively faint. They offer nothing. They say nothing. They really offer nothing to society, and they know that. That's why, I see this guy on the chat now. MAGA, that's all they do. Whenever they come by, they're like, oh, I was just passing through. They'll come in, they'll say, MAGA. It's like a fucking Twitch. MAGA, what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means to normal people, just like when they wear that red hat. It means you're a moron. We patriots see, oh, there's a very sick person. There's a moron. There's a dupe. There's a sucker. No one hates maggots more than the Republicans. Because how can you not? How can you respect people that continually vote for their own demise, that vote for a party, that vote for a con man, that lies right to their face while he's picking their pockets? And what does he offer them? Oh, he offers them hate. He offers them the ability to, he offers them a community of fellow hate-mongering maggots, America-hating dupes, who like to, say the N-word or misgender somebody, who are incapable of functioning in the type of free democratic society that they can only pretend to love. They hate everything about this country. They hate the nation of laws. They hate the diversity. They hate the fact that we're a nation of immigrants. Right there in the charges against King George, where he is limiting immigration to the country. They hate that. They hate the fact that we're a nation of immigrants because they can't function. They're that terrified. They're cowards. Like what happened to Michael Fanone. And I get it. I relate. Because doing this, I've been harassed by maggots, of course. But it's almost like you got to look at it like validation. As FDR said, judge me by my enemies. When maggots, when racists, when people who are, dumb are upset or triggered, that means you're doing it correctly. When traitors are upset, that's a patriotic duty. I am, empowered by that. Yeah. Tax cheating, draft dodge. Yeah, convicted rapist, Biff. Can you believe it? Whatever the fuck your name is. I mean, I love it. A convicted rapist. That's right. 2 times went to court, E. Jean Carroll. And then the judge and jury, 2 grand juries, 2 juries of her peers adjudicated that serial bankrupt con man grifter with the fake university and the multi-level marketing vitamin scam and, the history of sexual assault, but adjudicated him a rapist. And then came back and said, yes, Trump raped E. Jean Carroll. So I know you don't hear that in maggot, in the very small Russian-funded maggot influencer channels. But glad you're here. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you for hanging out tonight. And yeah, there you go. Well, right. Robyn on the chat says picking 401k pockets now. EO allows private equity firms to skim. Yeah, well, one of the first things Trader Trump did when he got back in office was he undid the executive order that Biden had signed, and actually Obama put it in place, and then Biden put it back, that the financial advisors had to run as fiduciaries, but they did that. He undid that. Oh yeah, Bill, Biff, whatever the fuck your name is. I'm not gonna block you at this point, but I'm certainly not gonna sit here and debate you, because that's like hitting my head against the wall to cure a headache. You're a fucking lost cause. But I'm glad you're here. Maybe you'll learn something, but I suspect you have other plans. MAGA. When somebody comes in, MAGA, we're just like, oh boy, another sucker, another racist, another pedo enabler, really. Really, how do you live with yourself, knowing that your dear leader shared wonderful secrets with a convicted pedophile? I mean, how much do you have to hate yourself to vote for somebody who fucking hates you, who thinks you're a dumbass? Well, you prove him right, I guess, in that way. Well, go read your Trump Bible or whatever the fuck you do. Okay, guys, thank you for hanging out. Civil cases don't lead to convictions. They lead to adjudications. There is a statute of limitations on that. But the civil juries, 2 grand juries, 2 juries, saw the evidence, heard the evidence, and unlike Trader Trump, he's too much of a coward to get up there. Well, he did go on the stand, that is true. But he dug himself into the hole deeper. And there were people on the jury that actually voted for Trump. So, they at least had the integrity when they saw the evidence, said, yeah, Trump is a fucking rapist. Ooh, well. But we know that. He's a rapist. He's a pedophile. He shares wonderful secrets with pedophiles. And you like that. You're a pedophile enabling dumbass. I don't know. I feel bad for you. It's okay. liberals created America while right-wingers begged the king to trickle on them. So, I mean, we'll save it from the likes of them again. Guys, thank you for hanging out. We will be here. Well, we'll be back here next Friday, 8:30 p.m. Hopefully, Hal will be on the show. Hal Sparks is going to be the guest. He was supposed to be here tonight, but he had to reschedule. And, but in the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Substack on Political Voices Network. They'll be writing some articles like we were discussing earlier. One of the articles that'll probably be up tomorrow is about how Traitor Trump ordered NASA to destroy 2 satellites, perfectly good satellites that are monitoring climate change, but that's who he is. He's a piece of shit who hates America. And but then we will have the Tara Show on Tuesday and Thursday at the Political Voices Network with myself and Tara Dublin. So, yeah, like and subscribe and all that stuff. And I hope to see you back here, at least for one or all of our get-togethers. Okay, guys? Thank you. Oh, thank you. Dig you, Tara. Glad I made it. Thank you, Robyn. Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Like I said, get a good night's rest. I'm talking to myself now. And I don't know. I already told you what to do. You know what to do. Like, subscribe. Thank you for hanging out. Let me see. Where is the... If you're on the Substack, please like the YouTube and vice versa. And all that stuff. I don't ask for much, I think. I don't know. Maybe I do. All right, my friends. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. And we will win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Get a good night's sleep, guys. And get rested. Stay safe. Stay awesome. And I will see you very soon. Thank you, Jim, and thank you, Redfoot, for being moderators tonight. And thank you for your super chats, guys. Thank you, Jim and Robyn, for your super chats. All right. And thank you, patrons, and Charlie from APS Radio News. I will see you soon.